Do you even know what copywriting is? 80% of my work is as a practitioner. I think just 6 months that I had my first job as advertising, I won 14 awards. Why am I working for somebody else when I've already, reached a certain level? You just don't know where you have to go. What do you have to do? Positioning is important, otherwise, you are shooting in the dark. Your promotions are not just targeted at human beings, they write for AI. Post retirement, we think, or rather, we assume that they don't have money. So, emotional involvement in the human part of the story is just too much.
Welcome to Learning Lounge, where leaders share, a space where we explore journeys, perspectives, and insights of people who are shaping the way we think, we lead, and communicate in this world. Today's conversation is something that every leader talks about. Very few truly understand our brand. Not just logos, taglines, but deeper intersection of strategy, identity, and influence. And to be talking on this topic, I'm very delighted to welcome Sonali Karande Brahma. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Sonali.
Yes.
Sonali, thank you. She's an award-winning international brand strategist and executive brand advisor with over 3 decades of experience helping organizations and leaders craft brands that are not only visible but trusted and chosen. Sonali works at the intersection of business strategy, leadership identity, and high impact communication, partnering with founders, CEOs, senior leadership across India, APAC, UK, US, and UAE to clarify positioning and strengthen their influence. Whether she's advising organizations or brand architecture, guiding leaders on executive presence, and helping them build meaningful authority on LinkedIn, Sonali brings a rare blend of strategic depth, practical insight, and clear thinking. Now you know why she's a guest on our podcast. A global speaker, jury member, mentor, visiting faculty, she's passionate about helping leaders, who they are, what they stand for, and how they show up in this world. And she often says, brand is not cosmetic, it's a business asset. That's a lovely phrase and statement, Sonali. We will talk a little bit more about that soon. So, today, as we dive into her journey, her philosophy on branding, what leaders need to understand, how does it influence, we'll talk about lots of things. So, I'm very excited to have you on the podcast, Sonali. Thank you for the kind gesture for accepting to be here with us.
Thank you so much, Shanti. I think it was a wonderful introduction, and I really look forward to this conversation that we are going to have.
Likewise.
Hoping that I would be able to add more knowledge and value to our audience.
Looking forward, looking forward. So, I'm a business owner too, Sonali, and there is always this confusion, this myth around what is branding. Many people think branding is colors, logo, um, marketing campaign, video, podcast. That covers branding. But what is real branding according to you?
Okay. I think it's a very good question because that's where it all starts. And that's also where all the confusion starts in the minds of a lot of business owners. Okay. I would like to say here that there's a difference between brand and branding. So, branding is the process.
Mm.
Branding is a process of how you build a brand. Okay. Very simple. I'm trying to simplify this. A brand is actually how you differentiate your product or service from competition. So that's like a very, very simple definition
Got
or an explanation of brand as a concept, right? Now, a brand is actually an experience.
it.
So it is not just restricted to, like, most people think it's colors, logo, or even promotion.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah, so that comes far later. But a brand is essentially a collective of how you want your product to be seen
Mhm.
in the minds and eyes of your target audience. I think I would say that is the concept of a brand.
Um, One curious question here. Is it how you want your product or service to be seen, or how you want yourself to be seen? What would you?
It's anything. I mean, yeah, it could be a product or service brand, or it could be a personal brand.
Got it. So if it's about you, it is personal brand. If it's a product or
Yeah.
service, it's that brand. All right. You've worked with so many leaders, so many organizations. Can you share a story of um, how you got interested in communication and branding?
Mm-hmm. Well, this goes back a long way. So the story actually began when I was kind of about 5 years into, what you call as a corporate job, after my MBA marketing. So
Hmm.
overall, the field was the same. So see, marketing is, in a way, definitely connected to brand building or brands, right? Um, so the interest was always there in the world of brands, but to be extremely honest about things, I think back then in our class, in our batch at MBA at B school, plus even today, I see that there is a lot of glamour attached to advertising. Okay.
Yeah.
And similarly, for us who had chosen marketing,
Hmm.
we also had this very glamorous view of the world of advertising.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that stayed with me because the kind of work that I did in the corporate world also, even my bosses back then understood that she's really interested in advertising. So
Hmm.
they put me on to teams where we interacted with the ad agencies. So that's actually right back then my love for brand building started, I would say. I mean, that's the beginning.
Wonderful. So you've moved from writing for newspapers to advertising to brand consulting. What kept you going through all these changes and moves?
Wow. I think it's a purely the love for my work, so for the world of brands, I would say,
Hmm.
which started with writing. Okay,
Hmm.
so again, when I was working in a typical corporate atmo, the love was always there, and luckily I got my mentors and bosses you know who gave me an opportunity to work in that field. And maybe that's where again I started, moving to that field subconsciously. And then at a time when I had to really take a call as to whether I want to continue in the corporate world. Again, this was like
Yeah.
pretty early in my life.
Yeah.
That's when I started writing for the newspapers. It really was the best of both worlds because I wanted to uh, invest my time in my baby, and that's when I also didn't want to just be a stay-at-home home mom. Okay, even when the baby was really a baby, I mean, he was like
Yeah.
really very young, like not even 1 years of age. So that's when I started writing for the newspapers, and
Hmm.
then gradually I saw, honestly, that that paid off through lots of awards and all, very small awards for my writing, but that wasn't a field that I would want to continue as my profession.
Hmm.
And so I started looking out for areas where I could, again, work from home, maybe, you know, invest my time in my baby, as well as also start building a career. That's when I decided to move to advertising. It wasn't simple. I gave it a whole of, I think, about 2 years or more. And I studied, like I say, the science and art of copywriting, which was how I entered advertising.
Yeah.
And then from advertising, Shanti, what happens is, once you're in advertising, I was in advertising for a number of years, I think, I mean, a lot of years.
Hmm.
You grow up the ladder.
Yeah.
So you start as a writer, then you move up to becoming a creative director, And then at that level, there is always a strategic point of view that comes into the picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So people, so your bosses, your management expects you to understand because you have got so much experience and knowledge, as well as you want to also, get into strategy. That was my not exactly switch, but I think the next move into brand building.
Right, yeah.
And then I switched to independent consulting. So that's just a change in the format of how I worked.
How you worked, yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
mentioned copywriting, and I remember when we were speaking about the podcast, you'd mentioned that you worked with India's only formally trained copywriters. We'd love
Yeah.
to know about that, and what lessons have you learned from that experience?
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. I mean, I would say, so I was pretty I still am very ambitious, okay, and extremely fearless. Which I was, I think, more fearless back then. So what happened was when I decided to kind of move into advertising, I just picked up the phone, and those were the days of landlines. Okay, I just picked up the phone, dialed random numbers of ad agencies in my city, and luckily I found a couple of them who really very clearly asked me questions as to, do you even know what copywriting is? Okay.
Yeah.
So I said, not really, but I assume it's like the writing that goes into advertising. And that's when they suggested to me the name of this person who did not have a phone, no landline, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that time I was 27-ish. He was 76. And so, I mean, with age, everything. And he used to stay alone because he was single. I found his place. I went again random. I just sort of walked into his house and I said, listen, sir, I want to learn copywriting from you because so many people have recommended. And he said, oh, well, but I have stopped teaching.
Wow.
So I said, oh, okay. But how about restarting teaching? So he said that I am going to Canada to meet my brother and I'll be gone for 3 months. So you come after 3 months. I went back after 3 months. He said, I still have to go. I haven't gone. Now I'll be going. Come back after 3 months. Again, I went after 3 months. Then he realized that this girl is not going
Going
to
to
give
give up.
up. Okay. And then he reluctantly agreed because he was old and he really didn't want to. So he said, the only way I will teach is a knowledge, I will impart, I will say what I've learned. That's it. You take the notes if you want, you do whatever, you can ask me questions. You
Mhm.
won't believe it, Shanti. This was in, he had a pretty humble kind of outfit, the home. We sat across. It was a simple table, like, we would do on a dining table, a chota sa table. And we sat across. He just talked, and I took down whatever notes. I also asked him questions. And that's how I learned copywriting. Every alternate day, I went to him for 1.5 years.
Mhm.
And the experience was amazing because all my faculties had to be like focused on what he's saying, right? Because I wouldn't get another chance. And I took down my notes. That notebook is still with me, although I never refer to it because it's all in here.
Wow.
And I think it was like mind blowing because there was no formal course for copywriting at that time. There was just nothing. So that was my only opportunity, and he was fabulous because he was a highly renowned and awarded copywriter of his times. So I learned the science and art of copywriting. I mean, absolutely. I completely give it to Captain Rowe, that was his name, to make me what I am today in this world of brands. Completely.
Such a humbling story. Have you ever thought of passing on this knowledge to others?
Yes, I have
Uh,
also done quite a bit in this. Okay, so if I am 31 years old in the world of brands, so 31 years of experience, out of which 20 years have been dedicated
Mm.
to teaching advertising at communication schools as in, PG, postgraduate communication students across the country. So, if I say that 80 to 90, 80% of my work is as a practitioner, okay, building brands. 20% or even more maybe in those 20 years was dedicated to teaching, and I have conducted complete full courses for these people, that these students. So that's how I have given back
Yeah.
uh, to the students who want to learn.
I'm sure that wealth of knowledge is worth the spread. And they
Yeah,
say knowledge only increases if you share
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Wonderful. So, Sonali, you mentioned you've worked in corporates, you're now an independent consultant. Um, One, what motivated you to take that plunge, to move from a safe monthly regular income to,
Yeah.
unpredictability? And what have been your challenges and rewards as a consultant?
Hmm. That's a wonderful question, Shanti, because I think the challenges that I'm going to speak about are being experienced by every possible consultant out there.
Hmm.
Okay, or let's say freelancers who are at a fairly junior level today. So the move again was, it is just that, I am the kind of a person who would take each day at a time. I mean, I am a big planner also.
Hmm.
I need my stuff to be structured and planned, but uh, not, not life. I mean, I do have my life also planned, but suddenly what happened is, moving towards brand consulting came at a level where I was working with ad agencies. Again, I had my baby at that time. I was working with ad agencies at, on what you call as a retainer level, but it was almost like a full-time employment. It's just that I used to go a little later because I told them clearly that I cannot, do a full time with you. I have a baby to look after. If you want, take it or leave it.
Hmm.
So I'm the kind who would, live life and work on my terms, right? Since then. So the thing is that I worked with these ad agencies on a retainer basis. And then during those times, I remember that within just about I think just 6 months that I had my first job as advertising, I won 14 awards at a state level. I mean, it was like I was just doing my work and with complete passion and love, right?
Hmm.
But I said, okay, wow, this is cool, right? Then eventually I moved to national agencies.
Hmm.
Even in that agency, what happened was the kind of rise that I kind of maybe carved that path for myself, but I rose to a level where there was no other next step at that, in that journey. So, for example, I was already doing very well. I was already, at a level where there was nothing further than that. It
One.
also could be that uh, being in Pune, which is at that time also was a kind of small city, or today it is not, but yes. So there was a limit to how much you could grow. Had I moved to Mumbai, maybe I would have stuck around in advertising. But I never wanted to move to Mumbai. In fact, I was working in Mumbai and we decided to move to Pune because we didn't want to build a life in Mumbai. So that's the personal story. But what happened is when I was with this national agency, I was at a level where I thought that now next is what? And why am I, working with somebody else when I can very well be on my own and get the kind of work and the kind of success and growth that I want? Why am I getting stuck in this typical, let's say 9 to 8? Because advertising is never gets over at 5, 6, whatever. It just
Yeah.
continues into the night. When I have a toddler to look after, I said this doesn't work for me, so I left. And nobody accepted it. They said that no, 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 you keep working with us on a consulting basis, vagara, vagara. So, which was still a retainer, but I got on my own terms. I worked from home and all those things, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's where, the real, let's say the decision, the parameter or the factor why I moved was because I said, why am I working for somebody else when I've already, reached a certain level? So let's start working for myself. So that's a very simple move, which I think, which is why I have been, more number of years have been in consulting than working for somebody else.
yeah.
So
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for that journey. Your journey, has taken you across countries, industries, corporates versus being an independent consultant. And yeah, today I understand brand strategy has become a space where you are having a biggest impact as of now. You are passionate about brand strategy and positioning. So why is brand strategy so essential for anyone who is building a brand?
So, okay, so slightly on a lighter, note, uh, I had a colleague who used to say that if you don't have a brand strategy in place, then you're like, running helter-skelter like headless chicken
Hmm.
because you can't see where you're going. So
Hmm.
I think that's the easiest way to speak about brand strategy is that you just don't know where you have to go. What do you have to do? You don't feel it maybe,
Yeah.
but you're stuck. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example with respect to, the fact that I spoke about differentiation.
Hmm.
That differentiation today is very important because every category that you pick, product, service, whatever, uh, any product that you pick has got tremendous competition,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then how do you stand out? So
Hmm.
the only way you stand out is through differentiation. But this differentiation doesn't pop out from the blue skies, right? I
Hmm.
mean, we have to do our research for it. So
Yeah.
research could be secondary market research. We also need to know our product very well. Also need to know, what is the market really wanting?
Hmm.
Where is the gap? So to find that gap, we need to have a brand strategy,
Hmm.
very structured process, which is brand strategy. Okay, another very simple example is take the case of, you want to launch a cookie, which is which is in effect a healthy cookie, which won't really healthy is which won't add to your weight,
Hmm.
okay, or has got all healthy ingredients.
Hmm.
Now, when you are putting it out into the market and you want to frame a sentence which could be called as the main messaging sentence, what are you really going to say? Do you want to say that eat without guilt, or do you want to say health friendly cookies, or do you want to say um, build your fitness with these cookies? See, health and fitness are two different things.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
yeah. Or do you want to say, for example, healthy ingredients? Do you want to position on that? So, same cookie, same broader objective, but four different things you already have in these 2 minutes. What will really work? And
Hmm.
how will you make your cookies fly?
Hmm.
That is based on the brand strategy.
Hmm.
Because you and me sitting here are not going to be able to decide which of these four should we really take ahead.
Hmm.
We will have to do some research as to what is the market really,
It's
what
with
does, yeah,
customers. Yeah.
who is our market, right? I mean, are these the young ones or are these the old ones? If
Hmm.
you're talking to older adults, then your positioning changes because their requirements would be different from the younger ones. Younger ones may be more superficial, body, whatever, this, that. figure sugar, yeah, if you're talking about the males, they are looking at,
Uh,
most of them are building their abs, six packs and whatever. But older adults are, we are more keener to really look at glycemic index or, all those things.
yeah, yeah,
So positioning is important. Otherwise, you are shooting in the dark. Like they say, spray and pray. So,
yeah.
which is what we don't want to do. That's why brand strategy is important.
So, what would the various components of a brand strategy be? Suppose I'm selling a product, a phone.
Yeah.
What would the components of my brand strategy be?
Anyone's brand strategy has got some fundamental components.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, those components may seem very simple. So,
Hmm.
you may today be able to answer these questions. Look
Hmm.
at the five W's and one H.
Hmm.
What is the five W's? So,
What,
what?
where,
Yeah.
why, and how?
Who? Yeah.
Who?
So, five. Who is the target audience? I mean,
Got
who is
it.
your customer, right? And how? Now, as of now, you may be able to, answer these questions properly
Hmm.
because maybe you're very happy with your kind of work today, and maybe you have reached your goals.
Hmm.
Fine. But if you want to go to the next level,
Hmm.
then you have to do this exercise again.
Hmm.
Another thing, the market keeps evolving. Now, during these times, the market evolves every less than 5 years, not even 5 years. I
Hmm.
mean, it's changing daily, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Plus, everything is changing. I mean, today we are not even talking to customers because this AI thing has come in between.
Talk about
And
it.
there is a big thing where they say that your messaging, your promotions, are not just targeted at human beings. They write for AI. You are talking to AI bots. And if you don't evolve to that level, your message might be lost. Oh my God. I mean, that's really a huge thing. Shan. So the question is that what are the components? Five W's and one H. Definitely. Okay. Now, when you sit and write these answers for 5W and 1H for your brand, then comes the real work. So that's where you have to do the research as on day.
Hmm.
So today, what does this look like? Or if you have a goal for tomorrow for your business or for your brand, then how do I answer these questions?
Yeah. And how frequently might the brand strategy change or evolve?
Very good question, Chanti. So back then, when I was also I was learning, okay, at that time also this thing that positioning should stay for very long
Hmm.
and should change only when you start experiencing that your goals are not being met. Then you relook at positionings. That's when you go for repositioning. That was a 10-year period. That 10 years changed to 5 years very soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my answer to this would be that brand strategy is something that should stay for at least 5 to 7 years.
Hmm.
Your
Hmm.
positioning also should stay, provided that your goals are met. The market hasn't changed too much. For
Yeah.
example, take the case of this Ozempic. Although I haven't done any kind of research, I just keep reading these things.
Yeah.
Now, today there is Ozempic, but tomorrow people may not be really wanting to lose weight or whatever they
Hmm.
are taking Ozempic for. Okay. So the market has changed.
Yeah.
So then Ozempic, whatever it is, it stands for, needs to relook at its positioning.
Got it. The story that I know is that it was originally a diabetes management drug, which it people started using it for weight management because it carbs, it cuts your hunger pangs and cravings. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sonali, can you share a brand repositioning project that you've managed in the recent past and What struck you in that? What is made that project memorable for you?
Hmm. Every time somebody asks me this question, it's like I go to one particular project of mine, which very surprisingly didn't start out as a repositioning exercise.
Hmm.
It started as a positioning exercise, okay, because the brand was new.
Ah.
But so we had this positioning, we did the brand strategy, we did the research, and we were like mighty kicked about, okay, so this is it, right? And they also launched this brand, etc. It was working very well, so there was no not working well
Hmm.
uh, kind of scene. But eventually, this was a travel brand. What happened was, so there were two things. So she was positioned, this travel brand was positioned on one particular location. That was the positioning strategy. Okay, one particular location which she was very good at. Plus, she knew that this was an exotic location which her audience wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, the positioning was it would be a relaxed kind of holiday.
Hmm.
She would never, they would never ever do a backpacking kind of holiday.
Hmm.
Target audience, obviously, because it was a relaxed holiday, was people who could spend money. Simple, because relaxed holidays means more money, right?
Correct.
Uh, and during the time, I remember I don't know why, but she launched a particular travel theme where the target audience was seniors.
Hmm.
Now, again, look at the connection. So, relaxed holiday, senior citizens also want a relaxed holiday.
Hmm.
Okay. But then we always keep thinking that seniors, as in, 60, 65,
Yeah.
post-retirement, we think or rather we assume that they don't have money.
Hmm.
But her senior citizens travel, that particular trip took off, right? Then
Wow.
she launched another one, took off.
Hmm.
Very successful. Third, fourth, fifth, flew.
Hmm.
And that then became a positioning. So her target audience was more focused now. I mean, she just launched these trips
Hmm.
for the senior citizens
Yeah.
post retirement because they had all the money to spend.
Money and time, both.
And they wanted a relaxed holiday.
Yeah.
And they also wanted to go to these exotic places. So
Oh, wonderful. It's not just
they
something is broken, it's that something is working. Can I dial that up?
exactly, yes.
Lovely, lovely.
But you need the eyes to spot it.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I say, if you don't, because you as a business owner, okay, anybody, even if you have a management, even if it's a big company, you are inside it. It's very difficult you have you've gone blind to the outside factors, which is why people going for brand consulting and go to brand strategists like me,
Hmm.
because you need the eyes to spot it at the right time. Otherwise, somebody else will own it. Then
Totally,
you're dead.
totally agree. Wow. Thanks for that perspective, Sonali. Sonali, when we started, you said, uh, personal brand, business brand, we were talking about that. Do you see similarities? There are lots, but are there places where these two diverge? How you would tackle business branding project versus a personal branding project? Do you see that they may move in different directions at any point?
The possibility of brand building
Hmm.
can definitely, uh, move away from, let's say that the difference between business branding and personal branding exists, but not at a level where, the fundamentals stay the same. How I work on, let's say, each of these projects will stay the same. The framework stays the same.
Mm.
But business brands are built in a way where, you need much, much more information, and the whole process is quite more, let's say, more structured
Mm.
than when you're doing personal brands. Okay, now why?
Mm.
The thing is that personal people do not think that the process can be structured. First,
Mm.
two, people do not, they think that, so what's special about me? The imposter syndrome is extremely, my God, it's like interfering at times. And while they want to build a personal brand, they still say that, oh no, I'm not that type. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Okay. I don't want to sound pushy, salesy, whatever. So emotional involvement in the human part of the story is just too much.
Mm.
So where it takes like a lot of, structured effort on my end to tell them, teach them, saying that. So education is takes a lot of effort there,
Put on your side.
educating the client. Okay, but when it comes to business, now look at this. Your own brand, it is, you're saying that build a personal brand for me, Shanti Sharma.
Mm.
Okay, all your biases, all your things are going to be involved here. And I think it's very easy for you to start experiencing that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because the moment I ask you a question, Shanti, tell me what is good about you that the others do not have. You will say, I have to think, Sonali. Okay. So that happens with everybody. Okay. But with business brands, what? Then I say that, Shanti, tell me about Grow with Satori.
Mm.
You will say, wow, I have all the information you want. Based on that, we will do a research,
So true.
right? Because it's a separate entity.
Mm.
Grow with
Despite
Satori
being
is,
mine, it is a separate entity.
it is, yeah. And even if, okay, these, so solo, even if you are, let's say, a solopreneur, I don't know, but I'm just saying that, let's say you're a solopreneur, which means that Shanti Sharma is the same, Grow with Satori is the same, right? I mean, you're just two names for
Yeah.
me. Still, you will find it easier to dissect Grow with Satori than you will find it, you will find doing the personal brand strategy for Shanti Sharma.
Yeah. Yeah. Spot
That's
on.
the difference. And that's where, my investment and my structure
Hmm.
changes. Plus, of course, every business brand is not the same, right? I mean,
Yeah.
two businesses will be different. So there again, there is that additional, customization.
Yeah.
So the brand strategy is complete customization, complete, whether it's personal or
Customization
whether
to your client, to your client's client, to the market. Wow. Wow.
it's very intricate.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, as you're talking, when you're talking about Shanti's brand, the first thing that came to me was LinkedIn.
Hmm. Okay.
Very recently I've started on Instagram and Facebook because 101 people told me, where's your presence? And I'm like,
Hmm.
Instagram, I won't find my clients that I am not an Instagram person, is what I would say. But yeah, LinkedIn comes to me more naturally. One, because at the start of your career, you make your LinkedIn profile, it's there, it's familiar, it's safe. Plus, it is very professional. So that I found my safety there. And it has become a major platform for personal visibility. Everyone has started using LinkedIn for their personal visibility. So, what would be your tips for somebody who's trying to build their own personal brand on LinkedIn?
I think, Shanti, everything that I say points to one thing which is very important, which is positioning.
Hmm.
So just because you are on LinkedIn doesn't mean that you talk about, you know, everything under the sun. No,
Totally agree. Yeah.
correct? So decide your, I would say three, but some people say five. So choose your 3 to 5 topics for LinkedIn and stick to them. That's it.
Mm,
Once in a blue moon, you might want to talk about something random,
mm,
like random as in something that makes sense to you or something which is meaningful to you or something that troubles you. But once in a while, which doesn't fall under your 3 or 5 chosen
Hey. Yeah.
buckets.
Mm,
Yeah. And these buckets or themes are essentially what you like to talk about, what you're good at,
mm,
and what people want you to talk about.
mm.
Okay,
That's
so
sounding to me like the Ikigai summary. What you
absolutely, I always have this Ikigai slide. I
mm,
always talk about Ikigai because I think that's the easiest way for one to at least get started on positioning
mm.
somewhere.
Yeah. I can talk about something that people don't care about, really will not fly. Yeah.
Your people. So
Mm.
again, it's people is who
Ah,
people. So your people as in your audience.
audience, client. Mm. Any reference that we can that you would want to share about a personal brand that
Mhm.
you believe they've worked really well on LinkedIn, that they've done put in effort to create that space for themselves on LinkedIn?
Um, so I think one comes to my mind immediately is so I've worked with lots and lots of personal brands actually. Sometimes even I don't remember. So I have lost count actually. And these are also strategies that I've worked on. It's not always only LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So my offerings also include resumes for working professionals if they want that. So pretty modular.
Mm.
Uh, Now there's one, uh, rather two brands I can think of is there's this vice president of a multinational, okay, IT, huge global vice president who wanted to create a personal brand of himself on LinkedIn.
Mm.
Okay. Obviously, at that level, he was doing all the right things. So there was no problem there. Okay. He was getting all the right promotions, whatever. But he realized that whatever he has done is just not there anywhere for
Mm.
people to know, right? So he wanted to build a personal brand. Now, what happens is with a very different kind of challenge that people who are at his level face,
Yeah.
they just don't have time. And
Agree.
he worked, yeah, on US time. He had moved to India because of some personal whatever, right? Challenges. And sitting in India, he worked
USR.
for the US time. Because of that, he didn't have the time. I had to kind of, figure out, what is the best time. But he was so invested in building his own personal brand that he found time. Okay. He was also extremely respectful, polite, courteous. Obviously, I think at after a certain number of years of experience, you generally, one expects you, and he was, right? So
Wonderful.
why I say that is because he respected my time also. He also respected the fact that I didn't want to work weekends,
Mm.
but he also knew how to, make me not work weekends, but if he had to speak with me, he would say, Sonali, just half an hour, 15 minutes. Okay, we can also do it on WhatsApp call, whatever. He was absolutely, invested in his personal brand. So I think that is something to remember. And obviously, when you're invested, you also do all the learning.
Yeah.
In his case, I did all the work on LinkedIn for him, which really worked wonders. So, the problem with I think our kind of work, in a way, for our business is
Yeah.
that because when some things really work well, the person is not going to come back, right? So,
And
or
the
clients. So
testimony that they didn't need us again.
they,
Wonderful.
yeah, they don't need you anymore. But the fact is that I feel very happy when they really learn, absorb, even at this level of their lives and experience. And they really apply all that. I mean, that's, I think, the best thing to have. And
Wonderful.
the other example is also of a similar, slightly, I would say, slightly higher up than a middle level manager. But he used to work out of India. His family was in India and he wanted to come back to India. And believe me, the guy really found his way to India, okay? And it took 2 years. But oh my God, I mean, he applied all the principles that, everything that he learned. So we worked on together and he found exactly what he wanted in exactly the city in which his family was. And obviously, he's very happy. Yeah.
What I'm gathering, Sonali, is you can provide the framework, the structure, the guidance, the mentoring, but the doing has to be done by your client. Yeah. And if they, that's a choice that they
So I
have.
have enough stories about that also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That if they
absolutely.
don't put in that effort,
Because then, see, Shanti, there are so many. Yeah. So you pay me everything, right? I take full advance. You pay me everything, and we do everything. I will also write to you saying that Shanti, we have a call coming up. Can we talk? You will say not this week, Sonali. Next week, this time. We fix up a call. Again, you disappear. I mean, how long can you do that, right?
yeah,
There's no point. It shows, it tells me that, I mean, of course, something can go wrong at a certain time, which is fair, right? I still give them a, what I call as a grace period.
yeah,
But even beyond that, if you are not invested, then I mean nobody can do anything about it.
nobody can do anything. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, let's lighten up the mood, Sonali. I'm going to
Yeah.
what I call as this or that questions. So I'll give you
Okay.
two options. Don't think too much. There is no right or wrong. Yeah. You quickly
Yeah.
say which one resonates with you more. Yeah. Subtle influence or bold visibility.
I would go with bold visibility.
Hmm? Okay. Thoughtful long form posts or short, punchy insights.
For LinkedIn, thoughtful long form posts.
Oh, for LinkedIn. Would you say short, punchy insights for any other platform?
Insta.
Insta. Hmm. Data driven strategy or intuition led creativity?
Data driven.
Data driven. Global brands or local legacy brands? What's your favorite?
Global.
Global?
I mean, for me to work on, yes, of course.
Uh, yeah. Boardroom discussions or stage conversations?
Uh, Boardroom discussions.
Boardroom discussions. All right. Thank you. We're going to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about a lot of my guests on my podcast are women entrepreneurs who are amazingly successful in what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of them. And as a woman entrepreneur, what unique challenges that it's not common for every entrepreneur, but what unique challenges as a woman entrepreneur did you face in your journey?
Okay. So see, on the personal front, I have a terrific support system in my core family. Okay,
Bless
so
you.
that's, yeah, absolutely. Really, touch wood, I mean,
Yes.
actually. Yeah. So husband, now son who's grown up, obviously my parents and my in-laws. So absolutely no issues there. Yeah, the challenges that I faced were in the workplace. Okay. So uh, so initially, during the time when I used to work for agencies, an agency culture, like I said, is never before 8 p.m. that you get to leave the agency. It is the culture. I mean, they will start at 12, but they will,
Oh,
sit there through the night. I mean, it's completely not understood. I mean, it's weird, but that's the culture. Now, when I started, see, I already was a mother of a baby when I went to advertising and I started working in advertising. Okay. Now, first job, fine. Second job, fine, which was the national agency. Even the local agency, fabulous. Because, like I said, I was absolutely fearless. And on the second day of my first job in advertising, I remember I told the boss, the main boss, okay, it was a fairly large team, but the founder, I went and told him that I said, we used to have this sir culture. I said, sir, two things. You can choose. I said, one, I won't tell you that I'm leaving for the day. Two, if I tell you I'm leaving for the day, you're not going to ask me to wait because
Yeah.
I have to pick up my baby from the crash. Which one do you prefer? So he said, okay, Sonali, go. Okay. So I set my norms. I
Yeah.
always do that. But when I switched, from this agency to another and I was looking for work, I wasn't desperate, but I went to this interview where, I kept maintaining the fact that I need to leave on time. Time is time. So I cannot do a 6 o'clock and which goes on to 7 because the crush closes at 7. And I prefer that everybody understands, setting expectations, right?
So important.
Now, this guy was very rude. So he actually shouted at me and he says that I know Sonali, your time is sacrosanct. Okay. But we don't work that way. I lost it and I actually walked out because it was
Yeah.
just an interview. But these are the challenges, Shanti, that I've faced. And this perhaps unfortunately happens more in Indian scenarios where people just look at you. And even as recent as 10 years back, the younger crowd who was footloose, fancy free, not attached,
Yeah.
didn't have any responsibilities at home, always looked, at me when I used to walk out at 6 sharp.
Leaving
Okay,
early.
my boss, yeah. So the boss knew, and I used to tell him that, listen, buddy, don't talk to me after 6. Okay, I'm going to walk out. So I always work from home also. If need be, I always work from home. But yes, so those things, really are not in the right spirit. So they really, you bother me a lot. This is the main challenge of, being a woman, whether you're an entrepreneur or not,
Yeah.
uh, really bothers me a lot. Clients will call you for meetings in the evening, yeah, because that's advertising culture. What they will say is they will finish their work and
Yeah.
then they,
Favorite.
even Indian, yeah, even Indians.
Hmm. How do you balance this culture and your personal life? Uh, you have a family to run, you have kids to take care of, you've got your other stuff to be done.
Yeah, yeah,
How do
yeah.
you create that balance?
So basically, I think it's very easy for me because I've always been a person who, like I said, lives life and works on my terms. So I
Hmm.
always tell them that, sorry, it doesn't work. I mean,
Hmm.
I just don't say yes. In fact, I must tell you this
Yeah.
little incident, very, very, I mean, something to reflect on, maybe. Now, very again, another client, I worked on his brand building for his organization, okay, based out of UAE. He was also based out of UAE and he had come to India to meet his family or whatever,
Hmm.
right? In Mumbai.
Got it.
I am in Pune. Now, there was a call that was supposed to happen, obviously IST, okay, Indian time. And then he was sort of not very sure at what time and what day and something like that. Now, what happens that those days I was working on a retainer for an ad agency, and I used to, I think, come home by 8:30 or something,
Hmm.
which was fair because my home stuff was, balanced at that time, well taken care of.
Yeah.
Um, I came home. I was very tired, very, very tired. And then I get a call on my number from some Indian number. Okay. And sometimes I pick up calls, sometimes I don't. In the sense, unidentified numbers. I picked up the call and then it was this client. And he says, hi, Sonali. And so, we had to talk about that. And he just started talking. I mean, discussing work. I was so tired. I just walked into the house and I said, one second. I said, can you just hold? I said, I just walked in to the house. I am extremely tired today. I have absolutely no energy left for any kind of discussion right now. Can we please, you know, do a call on another day, whatever day you say?
Yeah,
He was taken aback. I could feel it in his voice. It was a normal call. But I said, so what? If I'm not open to receiving any kind of, I cannot work, right?
exactly.
And
For
he
you
was like,
to be able to comprehend and provide them the right guidance and solution, you need to be in a frame of
yeah,
mind.
I mean, even if it is a discussion, I'm very particular that all my energies are intact. Yeah. Otherwise, I say that, okay. So, for example, if we have a fixed meeting, right? Suppose this podcast recording,
Hmm.
obviously we are decided on a day and time.
Yeah.
And then I ensure that I balance out everything even the day before so that
Yeah.
I'm not like dull and
Active on
dull.
that day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I need to be in my full energies, like I said. So I told him off.
Hmm.
I mean, we did speak later. I mean, the thing continued,
And
but yes, I mean that's people very tough for I think everybody, but especially for women.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that share and vulnerability. Um, when businesses come to you, what
Mhm.
do they ask? What will help them decide that they want to invest with Sonali?
Hmm. Okay, so if I have to trace back to all these years, I think one thing that there are two things that help them decide or rather feel good about the fact that they want to work with me is extreme transparency. Extreme transparency. So, whatever is, I will say it like it is. For example, whether it is work. Okay. So, for example, you say that, okay, Sonali, this is the positioning statement that we have come up with, but I don't agree to it. So,
Hmm.
can you tell me why?
Hmm.
So, I will tell you like it is. Okay,
Yeah.
I will be polite. I will be everything that you need from a partner, a work partner. But I will say it like it is. I won't camouflage.
Wonderful.
Okay. Also, even if it is a personal thing that interferes with my uh, professional commitment, let's say, for example, years back, I remember that suddenly we had to admit my son to a hospital. He was pretty young that time, and I had this work commitment. I was a retainer with this agency, and I had a lot of work to do, whether I went there or not, right?
Hmm.
So the reason is what is the actual reason. So when I message the founder, the boss, I said that listen, I cannot come because and this looks like it's going to be another 10-15 days at least, and I won't be able to work. If there's anything urgent, I'll be able to sort it out uh, in another 2-3 days, but not immediately. And this is the reason why. So I was very clear that my son is hospitalized, etc. So one is transparency, complete transparency.
Transparency.
What you see is what you get.
Hmm.
Complete. Okay. Second is utmost commitment. Utmost. So whether it is commitment to my family or commitment to my work, you will know. So I remember this founder with whom I have worked and keep working. He said, which was, I think, the biggest win of my work story, is he said that there is only one person I know who will go back on her commitment only when there is a death in the family,
Hmm.
core family. I mean, she won't show up only when this is the case. So that I think speaks of my commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for such being such a motivation, inspiration for so many others who are trying to build a career, and especially in this space of brand consulting. If what would be your guidance to youngsters who are trying to build a career in this space? What should they do? How should they go about it?
Shanti, the thing is that I would always advise, anybody to have a, take up a proper structured course or program.
Hmm.
So I'm all for studies. Okay. I'm all for learning in a very formal, structured manner.
Hmm.
I'm never going to say that, okay, you may be able to be successful at business even if you're a school dropout or a college dropout. But I would never second that. Okay, that's one. And it's not just because of the degrees. But what you learn in class in a very structured manner never goes away. That's what makes you what you're today.
Hmm.
And then you apply it to your practical world. So I would say that please take up a formal structured course, ideally offline. Okay, initially,
Huh.
and then you could back it up with whatever. So
Very good.
online, whatever. So the thing is that if you want to enter, I wouldn't even say that start consulting as after you have finished your graduation. I
Hmm.
would say that if you want to build brands, then you must go in for a structured formal course. Okay, learn first, acquire knowledge, and then start applying. As simple as that.
As simple as that.
Yeah, very important.
One question around the space or the world of branding. How do you think it's going to change and evolve in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's already changing.
AI.
Thanks or no thanks to
AI.
AI. But I think, like we keep speaking about the disadvantages of AI, which we really feel, okay? I mean, there are so many businesses or so many streams of businesses that have taken a setback, that have been set back by God knows, what value and how many years. AI is still, if we decide to understand how we can use AI to our benefit
Hmm.
and how we can use AI responsibility for our benefit, then I think we will evolve to a fairly uh, structured, fairly faster, outcomes in the world of brands, and yet retain the ethics of, what we learned back then. So, so evolution of the world of brands definitely is only going to be, right now I can see only AI, disrupting the whole thing.
Yeah.
But when I say disrupting, I don't mean necessarily in the negative way. It's finally up to us what we do. So, example, if I use AI for my research, okay, which I do use,
Yeah.
then I'm going to make sure that my clients are well informed right at the outset
Yeah.
because they need to know. They need to know.
Absolutely.
They can ask me all questions that they want. Okay, because I have a very transparent process of working. But yes, evolution definitely AI, and we really don't know how. Oh my God! I mean, that's like we just have to, I think, cross our fingers and
And
just hope that,
what
yeah.
emerges. So true, so true.
Last year was a fairly shocking thing for a lot of people who work in the world of brands.
Hmm.
But I think things have evolved to a stage where all of us know, how to make use of AI responsibility and to our benefit
Yeah.
instead of treating AI like competition.
Totally agree. I think the way AI is influencing almost all careers is
Yeah.
the very same way. You have to partner with it rather than see it as a
True.
competitor. That's the only way to survive. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sonali. It's been such a lovely conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey, your tips, guidance for our viewers. If any of our viewers want to reach out to you, how can they?
I think best is email at Sonali.
Spell it out. We'll put it in the in.
Okay, yeah. So it's Sonali at sonalibrahma.com, which is SONALI at Sonali again, SONALI BRAHMA.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any last words for our viewers?
I think just keep going and keep adapting. Never give up.
Never
I
give up.
think that's, yeah, never give up.
More power to you. May you create amazing brands. May your brand live long. Thank you, Sonali.
Thank you. Thank you, Shanti.